Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudaya. Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 4, the process of creation, text number 22 onwards. Shukdev Goswami is further praying to Lord Krishna to give him the mercy, give him the intelligence by which he can speak. So he is glorifying Krishna yet. Prachodita yen pura saraswati vitanvata jasya stim smritim hridi Swalakshana pradurabhut kilashitaha same rishinam rishabha prasidham. It says, may the Lord, who in the beginning of creation amplified the potent knowledge of Brahma from within his heart and inspired him with full knowledge of creation and of his own self, and who appeared to be generated from the mouth of Brahma, be pleased with me. So it's Krishna himself who gave the knowledge of creation to Brahma from within his heart and inspired him with full knowledge. So Shukdev Goswami is saying, let him be pleased with me. As we have already discussed here and before, the Lord, as the super soul of all living beings, from Brahma to the insignificant ant, endows all with the required knowledge potent in every living being. A living being is sufficiently potent to possess knowledge from the Lord in the proportion of 50/64ths. Okay, so what does it mean? A living being is sufficiently potent to possess knowledge from the Lord in the proportion of 50/64. Means Krishna, as we know, he has 64 qualities. But a jiva, like us, Jiva Tattva, a jiva can only reach up to 50 qualities. Like Brahmaji. Brahmaji has at the most 50 qualities of those 64. Shivji has 55. Vishnu Tattva, all the Narayan, they have 60, and Krishna only has 64. So that comes to, like Prabhupada saying, or 78% of the full knowledge acquirable. So at the most we can have is 78% of full knowledge of full potencies of Krishna. Even that too, not in full extent. Quantities wise, yes, 78%. Up to what extent we can have all those, it's all up to Krishna. Since a living being is constitutionally part and parcel of the Lord, he is unable to assimilate all the knowledge that the Lord possesses himself. In the conditioned state, the living being is subject to forget everything after a change of body known as death. This potent knowledge is again inspired by the Lord from within the heart of every living being, and it is known as the awakening of knowledge. For it is comparable to awakening from sleep or unconsciousness. So this is called, look at the words Prabhupada is using, it's called awakening of knowledge. Means the knowledge is already there. It's not like Krishna gives new knowledge. Like the jiva, the soul, just like Krishna, is made of Sat, Chit and Ananda. So Chit means knowledge. It's been sleeping or unconscious in our knowledge. The verse is 22nd, second chapter, second canto, fourth chapter, 22nd verse. So the knowledge is there, but we have forgotten. It's been covered over inside. This awakening of knowledge is under the full control of the Lord, and therefore we find in the practical world different grades of knowledge in different persons. This awakening of knowledge is neither an automatic nor a material interaction. The supply source is the Lord Himself, He is Dhyam Pati. Or like in Bhagavad Gita also he says, no, Sarvasya Chaham Hridi Sannivishtu Mattah Smritirgyanam Apohanam Cha. From me comes Gyan, knowledge. For even Brahma is also subject to this regulation of the Supreme Creator. Means the supply source is the Lord Himself. Even for Brahmaji, He gave him the knowledge by which he could do creation. In the beginning of the creation, Brahma is born first without any father and mother, because before Brahma, there were no other living beings in a given universe. Brahma is born from the lotus, which grows from the abdomen of the Garbhodaksha Vishnu, and therefore he is known as Aja. This Brahma or Aja is also a living being, part and parcel of the Lord. But being the most pious devotee of the Lord, Brahma is inspired by the Lord to create, subsequent to the main creation by the Lord, through the agency of material nature. So Brahmaji is inspired by the Lord to create. Why? Because he is the most pious devotee of the Lord in a universe at that time. And how does he create? Subsequent to the main creation by the Lord. So Brahmaji does the secondary creation. First creation is done by the Lord, as I had explained. The prototype of the whole creation is kept inside the stem of the lotus on which Brahmaji appears. The lotus comes from the navel of Garbhodaksha Vishnu, and inside that stem of that lotus, the whole prototype of the creation is kept there. Like a blueprint is kept over there. And so Brahmaji looks at that blueprint and does the creation outside the stem of that lotus. The material scientist can merely observe the reactions of the material nature without understanding the direction behind such activities. As a child can see the action of electricity without any knowledge of the powerhouse engineer. This imperfect knowledge of the material scientist is due to a poor fund of knowledge. The Vedic knowledge was therefore first impregnated within Brahma, and it appears that Brahma distributed the Vedic knowledge. So even the Vedic knowledge, it was first impregnated, given to Brahmaji, and Brahmaji started distributing the Vedic knowledge. Brahma is undoubtedly the speaker of the Vedic knowledge, but actually he was inspired by the Lord to receive such transcendental knowledge as it directly descends from the Lord. The Vedas are therefore called Aparashya, or not imparted by any created beings. So many times people, those obviously there are so many in Kali Yuga, so many who don't have faith. They always say, oh, Vedas are just books written by sages, written by some people. And those who don't even want to believe in, we don't know who wrote Vedas. Somebody just wrote, somebody just put together. No, Vedas, as Prabhupada is writing, Vedas are Aparashya, or not imparted by any created being. It comes directly from Krishna. Before the creation, the Lord was there, Narayana Para Avyaktat, and therefore the words spoken by the Lord are vibrations of transcendental sound. There is a gulf of difference between the two qualities of sound, namely Prakrit and Aprakrit. The physicist can deal only with Prakrit sound, or sound vibrated in the material sky. Therefore, we must know that the Vedic sounds recorded in symbolic expressions cannot be understood by anyone within the universe unless and until one is inspired by the vibration of supernatural, Aprakrit sound, which descends in the chain of disciplic succession from the Lord to Brahma, from Brahma to Narad, from Narad to Vyas, and so on. So here, Prabhupada is saying that the sounds that the scientists hear in this material world, it's all material sound. It's not spiritual. For the spiritual sound, and he's saying Vedic sounds recorded in symbolic expressions cannot be understood by anyone within the universe until one is inspired by the vibration of supernatural sound. So, unless until one is inspired by Krishna or the supernatural sound, Krishna gives a supernatural sound, aprakrit sound, and then only one can understand this aprakrit or spiritual sound. And this sound, or the spiritual sound, it descends in the chain of disciplic succession. No mundane scholar can translate or reveal the true import of the Vedic mantras, hymns. They cannot be understood unless one is inspired or initiated by the authorized spiritual master. So these Vedic mantras, or Vedic sound, Vedic shlokas, again, if somebody thinks like Krishna spoke whole Bhagavad Gita, of course, except the questions asked by Arjuna. So those words by Krishna, of course, they look like they're material words, but they're all spiritual. They're coming from Krishna himself. So to know the meaning of those words, one has to be spiritually connected. Then one can understand. Spiritually, one has to be spiritually potent. Until that is there, one cannot even understand the meanings or forget about writing commentaries on those words. But this is what people don't understand about Vedic science. Like one person I was talking to, and he obviously he was an atheist, and you name it, he was everything except have any faith. So he said, "Oh, did God made man, or men made God?" I said, "Thank you very much. I am wasting my time here." Because they say, "Oh, there's no person as God." Some people in old time they got together and they put somebody as God, and just to keep the society functioning properly. I said, "Wow, that's a wonderful philosophy. So you better follow that." So those who don't have any faith, any belief, or not just faith, any belief, any amount of any agyat sukriti, those who don't have, you cannot do anything with them. You just can't. In fact, they will create some doubts in your mind, and then we'll start having doubts about the whole process. So the original spiritual master is the Lord himself, and the succession comes down through the sources of parampara, as clearly stated in the fourth chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. So unless one receives a transcendental knowledge from the authorized parampara, one should be considered useless. Vifala mataha, even though one may be greatly qualified in mundane advancement of arts and science. So Prabhupada is writing heavy purport here that one may have very good achievements in mundane arts and science, but if he doesn't have the mercy of parampara, then he cannot understand, cannot have any mercy of the spiritual sound. So what's the use of that life? Shukdev Goswami is praying from the Lord by dint of being inspired from within by the Lord so that he could rightly explain the facts and figures of creation as inquired by Maharaj Parikshit. A spiritual master is not a theoretical speculator like the mundane scholar, but is Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. Means he got this knowledge in this split succession, and he has full faith in it, and he is trying to explain it. So look at Shukdev Goswami. Although everybody over there, Narad Muni, Vyas, all the great sages were there. They were sitting down, and Shukdev Goswami is sitting on Vyasasana. And Shukdev Goswami, although he is so qualified, but he is still praying to the Lord that without your mercy, I cannot speak about you. This is the right mood, right way to approach Krishna. In fact, not just speak about him, doing anything for him. Any service that we do for Krishna, for the pleasure of Krishna, first we have to pray to him. You please give me the mercy, give me the strength by which I can do this service for your pleasure. So that mood has to be there. Then he gives the knowledge, he gives the strength, he can give everything. Like later on, when we go to, I think it's in the 5th canto, the story of Dhruv Maharaj. Dhruv Maharaj, when he did tapasya and he saw Lord Vishnu face to face, in 6 months only, he did such a severe tapasya. And when Lord Vishnu appeared, Dhruv Maharaj was completely bewildered. Now what to say? What to ask? He was a little boy and he didn't know what to say. So Lord Vishnu, his mercy, he touched his conch shell on the head of Dhruv Maharaj. And when he touched, afterwards, Dhruv Maharaj elaborately prayed to Vishnu. He glorified Lord Vishnu and he prayed to Lord Vishnu. Before that, he couldn't say anything. That's a position of a devotee. He understands. Without mercy of Guru and without mercy of Krishna, I can't even do anything. Can't say anything. I cannot explain anything. I don't have any strength to do anything. And actually, it is true. Without mercy of Krishna and without the strength given by Krishna, one cannot do anything. We think even materially one cannot do anything. We think or some person says, "Oh, I'm a self-made man. I made all this money by my hard work." Who gave you the capability? Who gave you the intelligence? It all came from Krishna. Whether we recognize Krishna's mercy or not, it comes from Krishna. Of course, if I think it's because of me, then I get the karma and I get the reactions afterwards. Simple as that. Text 23. Bhutar mahadbhirya imaha puro vibhu nirmaya shete yadmushu purushaha bhungte gunan shodashatmakaha so alang krishishta bhagwan vachansine. May the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who enlevens the materially created bodies of the elements by lying down within the universe, and who in his Purusha incarnation causes the living being to be subjected to the 16 divisions of material modes, which are his generator, be pleased to decorate my statements. So Shukdev Goswami is really asking, please decorate my statement, because please let me speak about you, glorify you properly. As a fully dependent devotee, Shukdev Goswami, unlike a mundane man who's proud of his own capability, invokes the pleasure of the personality of Godhead so that his statements may be successful and be appreciated by the hearers. The devotee always thinks of himself as instrumental for anything successfully carried out, and he declines to take credit for anything done by himself. See, a devotee always thinks of himself as an instrument. Prabhupada also, if you read his poems that he wrote when he was in Jalduta, and Jalduta had just reached Boston, and it's called Markine Bhagavad. And Prabhupada wrote in those poems, "Oh Krishna, these people are completely in Maya, complete in mode of ignorance and passion. And somehow or other you have brought me here to preach. And you have given me the title Bhakti Vedanta. Now you make me preach. And Prabhupada is basically saying, you make me dance like a puppet. As and howsoever you want me to dance, you make me dance. So this is the position of a devotee. The godless atheist wants to take all credit for activities, not knowing that even a blade of grass cannot move without the sanction of the Supreme Spirit, the personality of Godhead. Shukdev Goswami therefore wants to move by the direction of the Supreme Lord, who inspired Brahma to speak the Vedic wisdom. The truths described in the Vedic literatures are not theories of mundane imagination, nor are they fictitious, as a less intelligent class of men sometimes think. The Vedic truths are all perfect descriptions of the factual truth without any mistake or illusion. And Shukdev Goswami wants to present the truths of creation not as a metaphysical theory or philosophical speculation, but as the actual facts and figures of the subject, since he would be dictated by the Lord exactly in the same manner as Brahmaji was inspired. So the truth of Vedic literature, Shukdev Goswami is praying to Krishna that please make me present the truths as it is, without any deviation and without any speculation. This is humility, not just humility. This is the dependence of a devotee on Krishna. And like Prabhupada is saying, not a single blade of grass moves without the sanction of the Supreme. Mundane people, materialistic people, they don't understand. They think, I am doing it, that's why everything is happening. Devotee doesn't think this way. And more we let go of our ego, of our controlling nature, more peaceful and more happy we would become. In fact, devotees, because they are on this path, they are hearing about Krishna, Krishna's mercy all the time. They're chanting his name, they're engaged in service. So sooner or later, they come to this understanding, to this realization that actually nothing is in my control. Nothing. And actually it is. Nothing is in our control anyway. Everything that happens is by the will of the Lord. I can plan, I can desire, even not even sure if Krishna is going to fulfill that desire. And whatever Krishna does, on the other hand, we have to understand and we have to have that full faith. Whatever Krishna does, no matter we think today it's not good for me or it's going to be bad for me, no matter what Krishna, whatever Krishna does, it's ultimately it's beneficial for us. It always happens this way. As somebody said, I think Steve Jobs, the Apple CEO, who created Apple, he said you can only connect dots looking backwards. Of course, it was a long speech that he gave, but it makes really good sense. I mean, even if we look at our lives, whatever incidents have happened, when we look back, we can connect all the dots. Oh, Krishna was trying to do that. This is what he did. And I was thinking of doing something else and I was trying to do something else. And it didn't happen. And this is why it didn't happen. Because devotees, they have that kind of mentality, that attitude, so they can connect the dots better. That's all. Others, they still are more proud uh, or want to do things on their own, then they get to remain in the material for longer. So this is surrender. Surrender means we have to just let go of our controlling nature, let go of our egos, let go of our our thoughts that I can do something on my. Look at Shukdev Goswami, such a highly realized soul, and he is praying to Krishna, please inspire me so I can speak about you. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord is himself and the father of the Vedanta knowledge, and it's he only who knows the factual purport of the Vedanta philosophy. So there is no greater truth than the principles of religion mentioned in the Vedas. Such Vedic knowledge of religion is disseminated by authorities like Shukdev Goswami because he is a humble, devotional servitor of the Lord who has no desire to become a self-appointed interpreter without authority. That is a way of explaining the Vedic knowledge, technically known as the Parampara system or descending process. The intelligent man can see without mistake that any material creation, whether one's own body or a fruit or flower, cannot beautifully grow up without the spiritual touch. The greatest intelligent man of the world or the greatest man of science can present everything very beautifully, only in so far as the spirit life is there or in so much as the spiritual touch is there. Therefore, the source of all truths is a supreme spirit and not gross matter as wrongly conceived by the gross materialist. It's a wonderful paragraph, but I'll go towards the end where Shukdev Prabhupada writing, since the Lord is a supreme entity, different from Shukdev Goswami, the prayer can be offered to him. The Lord helps a living entity to enjoy material creation, but he is aloof from such false enjoyment. Shukdev prays for the mercy of the Lord, not only for being helped personally in presenting the truth, but also for helping others to whom he would like to speak. So this is the really compassionate nature of a spiritual person like Shukdev Goswami. He's praying that Krishna, you please help me in presenting the truth, but also help others to whom I'm speaking so they can understand your words properly. The wonderful, wonderful mood Shukdev Goswami has, and Prabhupada has presented that mood properly. That's amazing. And also, another mood, Shukdev Goswami, like it's not explained here, but later on it might come. But as we know, he's asking for the inspiration and he gets the inspiration, he gets the knowledge, he presents the whole Bhagavatam very properly. At the same time, he never thought he is the enjoyer of the fruits of the activity that he did. He knew that strength comes from Krishna, and Krishna is the enjoyer. Means Shukdev Goswami didn't want any recognition, any power and position, any money to speak such beautiful Bhagavatam. Because as soon as Bhagavatam was over, he finished Bhagavatam, speaking Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj, he left. That's it. He was not at all attached. He came naked, he sat down naked for 7 days, and he left naked. He didn't take anything, any dakshina, any money, anything. That is the right mode. So anyway, I'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mata.
Hare Krishna Mata. Prabhuji, I wanted to understand one thing. You have beautifully explained that whatever happens to us is all because mercy of the Lord. But sometimes what happens is if something goes wrong, we start blaming ourselves that because I did this, so this has happened to me. Or maybe this is a bad karma. This is the result of my bad karma. I want to understand, is this the right way to, right approach towards our life? I mean, we should blame, do we need, should we blame ourselves if some bad thing is happening to us?
First, so I won't say we should blame ourselves. Of course, whatever is happening is because of our karma, but at the same because Krishna is. So understanding that Krishna is my well-wishing friend, that's what he says in Bhagavad Gita. Suridam sarvabhutanam. He is my well-wishing friend. So suppose you have your best friend and he or she is doing something for you, for which you don't understand how is it good or bad for me. But having full faith, full trust in your friend, you would really have, okay, it will be good for me. Right now, it might not look good for me, but it will be good for me. Just like a child, he or she, mother will always do best for the child. Maybe at the moment, if a child is crying or cranky and she's asking for something the mother won't give because it's not good for her health, but mother does not want anything bad for the child. No way. Child might not think of that way at that time. But later on, when looking back, he or she will say, yes, it was the best thing for me. So similarly, Krishna, when we are getting the reactions of our bad karmas, because we are somehow in devotional line, we have to understand that Krishna has reduced the reaction. He hasn't nullified it completely, but he has definitely reduced it. So that faith we have to have. Is it okay, Mata?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
And sooner or later we'll realize that, don't worry. Everybody goes through these phases. But
So we should take it.
Yes.
So we should take it like this is also a part of our karma, but the result, the effect has been reduced by the Lord, and we should happily take it. I'm asking you.
And there is some instructions for me. Yeah, also there is some teachings in it for me that I'm going to learn. And look, reading Bhagavatam and other scriptures, we have to come to this point to understand, no matter how bad our situation is, it is not as bad as that we are getting beaten up in 22 marketplaces by the soldiers of Kazi, or our father is not throwing us from the top of the cliff, or throwing us underwater, or throwing us under the feet of the elephants to kill us. The situation cannot be that bad. What I'm quoting is Prahlad Maharaj and Haridas Thakur, what they went through. We are not going to go through that kind of test. Or nobody's going to put you on a cross and nail you on the cross like Jesus Christ. So even they never lost faith in the Supreme Lord, even if they were going through such terrible situations. So we should also understand, whatever we are going through, it's only by mercy of Krishna. That's all.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay, man. Hare Krishna. You all have. Jai Shila Prabhupada.
Jai Shila
Hare
Prabhupada.
Krishna.
Thank you
Hare
so much.
Krishna.
Jai Shila Prabhupada.
Jai Shila.